Ladies and gentlemen, very happy to announce that our first edition of Ask the Mayor is about to take place right now. So if you have a question you would like to ask Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada, go ahead, give us a call, 790-0800, or you can text us at 514-790-0800, and we'll try to squeeze in as many as we possibly can. The mayor's on the line. Mayor, thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
How's everything?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I've asked some various people to do the introduction for the segment.
Okay.
And it's going to be different people all the time. Here's the first one. So this is for the segment we're about to do. Brian?
Okay.
It's time for Ask the Mayor. This is your chance to ask a question of Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada. Call 514-790-0800 now.
There you go. It'll be different people all along. Did you like that?
I did.
Thank you very much. I want to thank our former premier. All right.
I know. I
so,
recognize his voice.
Thank you. So let's get to it. I want to start with something we actually talked about a while ago, and I asked listeners to weigh in on this. Tom Mulcair happened to be here. We talked about it again. Montreal's police union is asking you to consider a municipal bylaw. This is all, of course, about an incident that goes back to April, where a man was pulled over by a police officer, and some of the behavior, degrading, misogynistic, whatever. I don't need to go through it again. I think most people have seen that video. So they're saying, the police union says, they conducted a poll, fairly small, 600 people. 70% of those polled say they would like to see a municipal bylaw. They say they want to meet with you. Where are we on this?
I'm meeting with the president of the union. I've talked to him a couple of times, and we're meeting again, I think, in a week, having that conversation. I think on the bottom line is that we agree on having some kind of conversation around putting this in place. My worry is on making sure that whatever we do is very clear that will not be you can be able to contest it in court. If you do that, we're going to be swamped with in the court, and that's not what we want. So it has to be very clear, and the issue will always be, what's your definition of an insult? And how are you going to make sure that because you get a ticket and you get mad to the police officer that give you a ticket, that you tell him the F word and then you have another ticket? Like, what's the definition of the insult? And what we saw was the extreme of that, of what happened, and of course, we all denounced it. Now, how do we make sure that we put a bylaw that will not be contested in court?
Okay. The other end of that question, of course, is because this came up, what about the idea of body cams? We've been talking about that in this city forever. How close are we? What's the latest on getting police body cams?
Well, we put in our budget the money for body cams. It is something that I believe in very much. I put it in my engagements when I was running for mayor. I've talked about it with Yann Lafrenière, who is the responsible of public security. It's something that has to be done with Quebec because it's the use of the video, where they're going to be located and how they're going to be used in court. That is the big question. But in terms of what I can do, the money is there on my budget to make it happen.
So you need the provincial government to stamp this and say, yes, go ahead and do it? Or do you need them to put in money as well?
Well, both, because it's all how you're going to use the videos in the court of law, where you're going to archive them, how do you make sure that they're not used for other things than just inquiries or, police investigations or, so there's a lot of questions around the body cam, but for me, it is a question of giving the right perception that the people are treated with respect, are treated with the same way, whoever you are, and vice versa. And I think it protects citizens, but also police officers in their job. And I believe strongly on the body cam.
Well, I hope we get there because, as I said, it's been talked about forever, and I think it's time. I want to move on. I posted the fact that you were going to be on, and people could, on Instagram, on my account on Facebook. I have a lot of questions. I'm going to try to get to the ones I think are most important. This one from someone called Svetlana. She says, I'm a business owner in Old Montreal. We have a huge problem with homelessness as well as the piles of garbage in the streets in front of our businesses. What is your plan to start cleaning up the streets?
Okay. So two things. One, there has to be a lot of work to be done with homelessness in terms of the perception also and the sentiment of insecurity that it gives, especially in some areas like Old Port of Montreal. I would say one thing that I need citizens to do, because for me it's important to know where the people in homelessness situations are in the city, which is not only the encampments, but it's also people just walking down the streets around the night and day. And I will call a citizen. I will ask the citizens to call 211. 211 it's a social cohesion kind of group that works with the city in order to address issues like incivility, cleanness, making sure that we connect with the person that's in homelessness situation and connect with the community organizations to be able to address the issue that the person lives, right? So 211, important. If the person is in urgent matter, of course, call 911. But 211 it's really, really to make sure that we're connecting the people with the right organizations.
Okay.
On the getting the city clean, again, we have an issue in the Port of Montreal, especially in downtown, is Airbnbs and low short-term leases where people don't really respect. They don't know where to take out the garbage. And so we're coming down very strong on the Airbnb and short-term leases to make sure that we have a stronger regulation to be able to do that. And the other thing is please call 311 also, because we need to know where the issues are in terms of cleanness and garbage, so we can address it. We put more people downtown to clean more, and we see the difference. But if there's one area that hasn't been touched, I need to know where it is, and I'll make sure that we send people over.
So you mentioned Airbnb. One of the other texts was from a woman named Marianne who said, I pay over $5,000 in taxes, but I can't have guests from October to April or I get a ticket. Why?
Well, the City of Montreal changed the bylaws and the rules around Airbnb and set the time from June to September, 90 days in that period. My perspective is that we need to give the flexibility to the citizens to tell me when they need those 90 days. Maybe for your citizen that just sent you a question, for that person would be in December, because next year they will be traveling in December and they want to use that period of time to lease their own apartment for that period of time. So we're going there, but to go there, we need to strengthen the way that we're going to be able to say who's the person who's renting, and is this is primary residence, because that's the only way we want to tackle the commercialization of short-term leases.
I want to go to Sharon, who's on the line with a question. Sharon, what's your question for the mayor?
Hi, Soraya. I'm just wondering, there's 100,000 units that just need renovation that you own. I mean, it's not, you know, the problem didn't start with you, but I'm just wondering, what is blocking getting places like Walkley just renovated, Empress Theater, the Voyageur? It could house, I'm a retired social worker, and I don't understand where the blockage is for renovation.
Okay.
So the OMHM, which is the Office of Housing of Montreal, that is comes through is under Quebec but managed through Montreal. They have 22,000 units of homes, in which, yes, you're right, there's maybe 200 or 300 that need to be renovated. I know that money was sent from federal government to Quebec and Quebec to OMHM, and I know there's work that's actually on their way. We talk about La Pépinière, Old Boys View in front of the View Metro. So I know there's a few, and you can watch the few announcements that we'll be making, because we're working on accelerating their renovation in a few of those units.
Close your eyes, and you can hear the entire world come alive. 2026 FIFA World Cup is on, and you can stream it all live on TSN Radio. From the opening kickoff to the final celebration, every match, every moment. Listen to FIFA World Cup on TSN Radio.
Gives Canada the lift-off.
Available on iHeartRadio.
We are on with Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada. It is our first edition of Ask the Mayor, where we do just that. You have a question for the Montreal Mayor, you can give us a call at 790-0800. And by the way, I should mention, this is something we are going to try to do, if we can, Mayor, at least once a month, right?
Yes,
Okay.
That's our plan, and hopefully next time I hope to be in person. I think
Absolutely.
it's always better.
I want to just say, and I said this off the top, I really appreciate you doing this. This is something I think that is important for Montrealers, and this is great that you took the time. So thank you.
And there's no question out of scope, like
Nothing, everything and
anything.
anything, yeah.
Just go.
Like this one that says, for example, you talked a lot about cutting down the size of government before you were elected. What have you done on that? Have you managed to cut the fat and get rid of city employees?
Yep. I started at the top. I cut down 7 directors' positions at the city, and going from the top down to the structure of the city. We're going through every single department with our president of the executive, Claude Pinard, and that's the job we're doing right now. But we started at the top, and I think that was the message that we wanted to send to the municipal structure. And I'll tell you to watch a bit what the next announcement will be. But we'll continue to do that work in the next few months.
Question from Susie, who said, how will you improve accountability and the quality of road work and construction in Montreal? And I know this is something, again, you talked about before even becoming mayor.
So a couple of things. But first of all, we created an innovation hub in downtown core. We're going to be trying lots of things. We add a call for bids in terms of solutions, innovative solutions. So we're going to be announce who's going to have those. So you'll be able to follow the work that we're going to be doing with them in downtown core. What works, we'll try to, give it to other boroughs in order to, so we can increase the productivity, efficiency of our roads. The budget that will come next budget of the city, it's our budget. As you know, we were elected in November. The last budget was a budget of transition and not really 100% ours. One of the things that you will see in next budget is how much money we're going to be putting into roads and maintaining and upgrading the quality of our roads. Because as you know, a lot of people have been talking to me about potholes.
Yeah.
So we need to address the issue of potholes, and that comes with the fact that the city has not put a lot of money into maintaining the quality of our roads.
And speaking of potholes, Steve is on the line. Steve, what's your question for the mayor?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you meant me.
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead, Steve. What's the question?
My question is, and I know you have about 150 excuses for it, but I still see potholes on side streets, in main streets, everywhere around the city. It's very dangerous driving. I know you could say whatever you want. I mean, why, as of June 9th, that we don't have a complete fixture of all the potholes in the city? The weather has been good, very good.
Okay, let's get the mayor to answer the question.
Yeah.
So we have to be realistic. We have a situation that's unprecedented in the city in terms of the quantity of potholes that we have. We have tried many things. We have put lots of money, more money into potholes that we've done in the past, but that is not enough. And one of the reasons is we do not have enough equipment to address the issue. The other thing is that the city of Montreal, me being the mayor, I'm not the whole responsible for potholes. This is a joint work that I do with the boroughs. So we have to make sure that we're working with the boroughs in terms of doing more to do those potholes. But again, we need more blue collars. We need more equipment because we don't have it. And we do need to have some accountability also on the borough mayors and their teams. This is a joint effort, and we're doing a lot. I mean, we sent almost $3.5 million to the boroughs. We have put manual contracts to have people to do the potholes, and we have dedicated money for West Notre Dame, other areas of Montreal. But again, this will need to change, not with the magic wand in a couple of weeks. This will take time in terms of having the city what it needs to do the job. You cannot ask me to put a nail down a wooden panel without a hammer. And that's what I don't have right now.
Fair enough. I want to take another call. I did want to ask, since we brought up potholes, have you met with Marquise, the Prince of Potholes?
I actually met with him. I talked to him. I met with him downtown. What I would say with that is I salute the fact that citizens want to get involved and help the city. I'm all for that. But you need to know that the blue collars and the work that we do on the city and the boroughs in the past weeks, we have, repair in the average about 10,000 potholes a week. So I'm really glad that he's helping out with 3 or 4 a day, but we're doing about 10,000 a week.
All right. We're not going to run out of time, so I want to get real quick here. Jimmy is on the line. Jimmy, what's your question for the mayor?
Hi, Mr. Mayor. All of us have grown up in a world where cars were easily accessible and it seemed to be a right of life. So as a 60-year-old, I will tell you, is there any serious thinking going on into really acknowledging the fact that we have to find a way to live, specifically in the island of Montreal, with just fewer vehicles and somehow find a way to make that work? Because the idea of fixing all the roads, I know it's not politically easy to admit to it, but it's been 30 years that many administrations have tried, and anybody who's ever done basic landscaping will tell you the land shifts and cracks, and then you got to fix it again, right? That's one of the things about living on an island of Montreal, and it's never going to change. So has any serious discussion gone into place to figure out a way, how can we live well and move around well with fewer vehicles on the footprint of the island?
Interesting question. Okay.
Well, you have to address the issue of collective transportation. I live in the east part of Montreal. Many people, Anglophone, to your people that are listening to the radio today, many of them live out west of Montreal. If you live downtown, if you live in Île Bizarre, in Pointe-Fort, in Lachine, getting downtown by transportation, collective transportation, is very difficult and take a long time. From east part of Montreal to downtown, for me, it would take an hour and 45 minutes. So we need to give the options for people to leave their car behind with a real efficient transportation, which is it's not equitable in terms of the offer that we're giving to the citizens of Montreal. Do we need to have less of a car? Absolutely. We need to work on having a better mobility, getting our roads to better think about if you're doing a bicycle path, roads for people to walk on, and cars to drive. All of them need to share the street in a way that is efficient and fluid, and that's what my administration wants to do for the future.
I have a couple of questions quickly just to get in. A bunch of people asked, what's happening with Cavendish? There doesn't seem to be money or budget for Cavendish. What's the latest on that?
Well, actually, we have talked about giving out a study to make sure that we are ready to present that to the BAP. As you know, Cavendish, to open out Cavendish, there will be a lot of studies to be done on that, and making sure that we have the agreement from the BAP, and we are committed to to continue that work and make sure that hopefully in my term I can come to your radio and say, done. That's my objective.
Okay. I will keep a note of that. All right. Last question. I don't know if you saw it. I wrote an op-ed in the Gazette yesterday. The opposition at City Hall, Projet Montréal, is going to introduce a motion next week to call on the city to cut institutional ties with Israel, recognize what it calls a genocide. And I simply said, in my piece anyway, I don't think this is the time for this. I think given what's going on in the city, we have to recognize, what the reality is. There has been a lot of anti-Semitism here, and I'm curious for how you're going to handle this.
So my worry is to make sure that we understand that our objective as mayor of Montreal is making sure that all communities in the city feel safe. And our responsibility as elected officials is building bridges. It's not isolating communities. And so we'll have the chance to discuss that motion at City Council. So I will have to remain my comments to that for now, Aaron. But I do feel that, people talk to me about how people are suffering in all the spectrum of this conflict. And people are suffering in all communities. And that's not what we want. And we can feel that suffering, and, war will always be difficult, emotionally very heavy. But my sole responsibility as a mayor is making sure that my community feels safe, and that's my objective for all communities. All of them.
As a question, though, is this really an issue for a local administration to take up?
Well, I can understand the issue of, in the past, the city of Montreal has taken some positions, and I understand that. But the context that we're in today, it's not the same as the context we had in the past. So my issue is on the context that we have today with social media, with hate online, with the rise of anti-Semitism, sorry, that word in English is difficult for me to say.
Anti-Semitism,
Thank you. But also the work that needs to be done in terms of building the bridges between our communities, going back to a vivre ensemble and respecting each other in the city of Montreal. And that's my main objective.
That's all our time. I thank you so much for being so generous with yours. I look forward to having you back on. We'll do this again next month. Thank you so much.
In a month.
In a month. Or in a week if you want to come back. That's fine.
All right.
Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada answering your questions.
Pride is like love. You feel it in your heart. iHeartRadio, Canada's #1 streaming app for radio and podcasts, including iHeart Pride Canada, your favorite hits, and must-have party bangers, plus personalized and curated playlists like Back in the Day Pride.
Come together, celebrate love.
Take Pride with you, anytime, anywhere. Just ask your smart speaker to play iHeart Pride Canada. Stream us on your phone or listen now at iHeartRadio.ca.